The Eyemonger. A long time ago, on an island at sea, there was a great town filled with wonder and glee. A strange fellow arrived on a fine sunny day, with a suitcase big enough for a very long stay. He was very distinct, quite tall and quite thin. He had a long pointy tail and grayish blue skin. He stood out from others, whether near or far, but none of these things were what made him bizarre. The oddest thing about him, one would surely surmise, was the fact that he had 103 eyes. He had blue blinking eyes all over his face, eyes on his hands, eyes every which place. With 103 eyes, his great skill was to look into every crevice, corner, knothole, and nook. He believed that watching made things secure and all right, because wrongdoing often happened way out of sight. He stepped off his boat and went to the center of town. He stood near a fountain and put his big suitcase down. And in a loud voice, which everyone could hear, he said, "I'm the Eyemonger, and I bring you great cheer. I'll make this place better," he said with a grin. "I'll solve all your problems if you let me begin. I can surely make everyone all get along, and I can fully prevent all that is wrong. I promise," he said, "I'll put an end to all crime, because I'll be watching each of you all of the time." All of the citizens loved the Eyemonger's creed, so they voted right then to elect him to lead. In the center of town, a grand tower was erected, from where the Eyemonger could watch, so all were protected. From high up above, he could see everywhere. He could see down each street and into every town square. Some citizens fretted about the Eyemonger's power. "We have no privacy when you watch from your tower." The Eyemonger said he was a helpful all-seer. "If you have nothing to hide, you have nothing to fear." From his perch, the Eyemonger looked all around at all the activity going on from the ground. But soon he grew angry that his gaze couldn't roam inside each building, hotel, office, and home. So he opened his suitcase and yelled out a shout, and thousands of eyeballs with wings clambered out. Each eye had flapping, bat-like slim wings, and the eyes loved to fly and look at all things. "Go forth and watch," to the eyeballs he muttered, and away to each place the eyeballs all fluttered. They flew into every building, every house, every room, and when they arrived, the eyeballs would hover and loom. All around, everywhere, the eyeballs they flew, and they watched everything the citizens would do. To the Eyemonger, the eyes reported everything they saw, so the Eyemonger could strictly administer the law. "The eyes are quite creepy," some citizens said. "Being watched all the time fills us with dread. At home we're uneasy with the eyeballs inside." But the Eyemonger asked, "Do you have something to hide?" The Eyemonger insisted the eyes would still stay, and the citizens would have to accept it this way. Life in the town grew grimmer each week, as citizens did less and turned timid and meek. Then one day Citizen Griffin defied the Eyemonger's flying eyeballs that spied. He locked his house so the eyes couldn't go in, and the Eyemonger grew furious at this terrible sin. Soon there was a knock at Griffin's front door. "Let me in!" the Eyemonger yelled with a roar. "No," Griffin said, "it's none of your business what's here. Please leave my house. Go away. Disappear." The Eyemonger said, "You must have something to hide, or else why won't you let me look around inside? "I'm doing no wrong," Griffin bravely exclaimed. "There's no good reason for me to be blamed." But the Eyemonger grew more curious with each passing hour. He scowled as his mood grew increasingly sour. "If you don't let me in," the Eyemonger said with a frown, "I'll be sure to come back and knock this house down." And with an army of rhinos, the Eyemonger came back. He blew loudly his horn to launch the attack. The rhinos all charged against the front wall, and with their great weight made it crumble and fall. The remainder of the house also caved in, and the Eyemonger gloated with his great win. Covered in dust in the rubble Griffin sat, while the Eyemonger rummaged around like a rat. "You're up to some wrong," the Eyemonger cried. "I'll find the bad stuff you wanted to hide." But the Eyemonger didn't find anything bad. Instead, what he found made him quite sad. Griffin, you see, made art that was splendid, which now was all ruined and beyond being mended. To the Eyemonger, the art was such a wonderful sight. Its ruin convinced him that he hadn't been right. "I'm sorry," he said. "I've been stubborn and mean. I've destroyed the most beautiful things I have seen. I meant only to help keep everyone safe and secure. I didn't want to destroy art so lovely and pure." Griffin forgave him and explained to him there that it was hard to create under an all-constant stare. The Eyemonger wiped tears from each of his eyes. He had learned a hard lesson that made him quite wise. Privacy is essential to be free and at ease. We all need some time when nobody sees. The Eyemonger's watching had stopped being an aid. Instead, it made the citizens upset and afraid. So the Eyemonger stopped watching, poking and prying. He stopped glaring, staring, snooping and spying. "Please," he told Griffin, "create and be free, and I promise to look only when you want me to see."